Hey, it's Zach and Dustin here with Zach and Dustin versus Sports number 2. We're here to talk about primarily the Seahawks and Bears and other NFL trending topics.
Yes, sir.
All right, you want to get right into it with the Bears versus Rams game?
Yes. I think it was the best game of the week. So I definitely I want to take over on this segment because the Bears showed why they are the monsters of the Midway with a dominant win over the the Los Angeles Rams. Woo! 15-6. Dominant defense. Um, I I was very impressed by this game, but I was also very disheartened by this game. I was loving it. I preferred my defense being on the field than the offense,
Yeah.
and that was very sad to me because each time I'm like, all right, you know, Trubisky, he's shaking off the rust. He overthrew that, and he does that a lot, but he's been tightening it up before he had that injury, and then it was just like, all right, we're back to square one. Like the second play, I think it was, and he just overthrows his receiver right into the hands of Marcus Peters, making Marcus
Oh
Peters
my
look like the greatest
gosh.
cornerback.
I know.
Man,
Like the worst corner in the league has another interception.
no, it was really upsetting. Luckily, the defense held him to 3 points, um, and we just uh, we slowly etched at him back. Got a couple field goals, and a safety. That was pretty crazy. Goff just held onto the ball, and Eddie Goldman smashed up through the middle and tackled him. So it was 8-3, I believe, or 8-6 at that. I think it was 8-6 at that point. And then, excuse me, the Bears were playing well. It was pretty interesting. Trubisky, I think he threw for about a 170, no touchdown, or one touchdown, three picks, and a QBR of about 33.7, I think it was. And he was uh, I guess he was the better quarterback on the field. Like his stat wise, he did better than Jared Goff. Couldn't believe that. As terrible as Trubisky played. Now, that definitely doesn't. It's not saying much when your QBR is 33 and you're the better QB on the field. But moving forward, better not do that against the Packers, man. Um, I can't lose. I can't lose another one to that team. Not like week one.
No, and I wonder if the Packers will they be in Soldier Field this time?
Yes.
Mm, man, I wonder. Here's something. Are you worried that Trubisky isn't a cold weather quarterback?
I thought about that during this game. I really did. I'm like, okay, maybe maybe it's not the cold weather. Maybe his shoulder, right? He's a little rusty. But I don't know, man. That does have me worried because it's like you got to be able to play in the cold weather. Come on, you can't be a Chicago Bear and just suck in the cold weather.
Yeah, I mean your home field advantage is so big at the exact right time, right? Like people have to come into the cold. You're good at running the ball. Your defense is good at playing hard defense, and
Yeah,
you need your quarterback to be able to take advantage of that too. He can't fade. You can't have your
yeah,
quarterback become a liability at home.
yeah. And that's the thing, right? Just don't turn over the ball. That's it. That's all we need you to do. Don't turn over the ball, and keep feed Jordan Howard. He's hungry. He wants to be fed. Uh, and home I want to get at least one game home field advantage, and if we beat the Packers, I believe we clinch the NFC North. And that will, yeah, because There's only 3 games left, and the Vikings have only won 6. So we will be we'll be a 10-win team next week. And let's see here. If we do that, we're going to be a 3rd seed. We're going to be the 3rd seed facing the 6th seed, which hopefully is the Panthers or some other horrible team like the Vikings. Huh. Perfect.
It's probably going to be the Vikings. What it looks like right now is you guys are going to get another chance to slap the Vikings at home. That's how it's all like shaking out right now, unless like the Panthers can, I don't know, figure out whatever it is that's going wrong with them, or the Eagles can overcome the fact that they just lost their quarterback permanently.
Yeah. That is nuts.
Yeah.
The Panthers, lost 5 straight, I believe.
I know. I think they were all close, except for the Steelers game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, like, how painful it is to be a Panthers fan right now. I don't want to like sit here and harp on them or whatever, but like, they lost to the Lions by 1. So they lost to the Steelers 21-52, Lions 19-20, Seahawks 30-27, Buccaneers 17-24, and the Browns 26-20.
Did we lose you?
What, you can hear me?
Okay, there we are. Froze, as you were saying, Panthers.
Sorry. I just read their schedule, and basically outside they lost all their games by 1 score or less.
Yeah, that Lions one too. That's like really where it really just went down. How they went for that 2-point, didn't get it, and then the next week I think it was a Thursday night game, and they just got stomped by Pittsburgh. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, they got stomped by Pittsburgh and then went into the Lions game and lost by 1.
Okay.
And then they went in against the Hawks and lost. Well, the Hawks went over there to the team that was invincible at home and gave them their first home loss. Happy about that. Anyway, let's get back to the Bears. We got a little sidetracked here.
Yeah. So I'll go back to Trubisky. Do I think he's got it? Maybe. I'm optimistic. That's all I got. I liked what I've seen from him, and I gotta not be so emotionally outraged every time something happens, because he's a young guy and he's hardly played any games. Played half a season in college. I don't know that it was a full season. Didn't play a full season the first year in the NFL. Had to take over after just a terrible start. I think it was 0-4 start. And then this time, we were rolling, and he gets injured at a pivotal time. Luckily, we go 1-1 with Chase Daniels. But we beat the Rams to make up for it, and I'm cool with that. Hopefully we can seal the deal this week, killing the Packers in the cold. Trubisky, just hold on to the ball. Give it to Howard the whole game. Let's go. Or maybe they can do some, I don't know. Matt Nagy, let's queue up the plays, all right?
Yeah, Matt Nagy's been using Howard a little bit more the last couple games. I see 16 and 19 carries for 76 and 101 yards, right? He's got 4.8 and 5.3 yards per carry in those games. So he's starting to use him a little bit more. I understand that he loves Tariq Cohen, and obviously Tariq Cohen's a monster. He showed he was like the one part of that offense that was rolling, right? Yeah. On him and Jordan Howard. Jordan Howard was doing his job, right, being a bruiser and everything. Tariq Cohen was making things happen with his speed. So that was really cool to see. Yeah. I get it. Tariq Cohen's the cute back, right? That's Nagy's cute offense. He loves that.
Yeah. I always like watching Tariq Cohen, like he's like running in like he's just gonna, smash into him. And I mean he just gets overpowered like once he's in a group. Like like he's gonna get a couple more yards and he just runs into a brick wall every time. It's pretty funny.
We had a moment like that in the Vikings where they were rotating out Chris Carson and Rashad Penny a lot, right?
Yeah.
And Chris Carson lowers his shoulder and punches a dude backwards and stuff. And if the linebacker doesn't wrap up on him and then get help, Chris Carson will run him over, right? Run right through him and keep going. So you have that goes on for 2 plays in a row, and then Rashad Penny gets it and runs up for gets a 5-yard gain, but when he meets the linebacker, it's just he just falls over, just bounces right off him. He tries to lower his shoulder into him, just gets dropped,
gets rocked.
Yeah, it's definitely 2 different styles of back. I'm not hating on Rashad Penny. It's just calling on him to do the Chris Carson work is going to create issues, right?
Well, speaking of the Seahawks, let's get on to the Seahawks-Vikings. Monday night game.
Yes, an unusually dominant performance from this defense this year. We looked like the 85 Bears. We were bullying that offensive line, and I get it. The Vikings' offensive line is not good at all. It's bad. But we haven't been able to bully bad offensive lines all year. Even our pass rush has just been non-existent. Our secondary lets everything through. Nick Mullins got 400 yards on us. He threw for 400 yards on us, the Niners quarterback, with no receivers. He would charge Kittle, who's a beast.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess, Kittle's a beast, so maybe.
Kittle got 200 yards in his last game against the Broncos. Did you know that?
First half, 200 yards.
Yeah.
Man.
Oh, man. They got to start attaching. I think Chris Harris was out, but if he was in, they'd have to start throwing him on Kittle. That'd be crazy.
Yeah, that was nuts.
Anyway, yeah, so I was not used to this defensive performance. Bobby Wagner, of course, was lights out as always. He had another defensive player of the year status type game, right? I don't think he's even in the running for it at this point, but he had an incredible game. Him and Frank Clark just took over. I'm kind of I don't want to say I'm a Frank Clark hater. I just hate on Frank Clark a lot more than a lot of other people because he can't tackle for shit. I think he's tackled 2 people and they were in this game. No, I'm exaggerating a little bit.
Good.
Yeah, he was great. He was awesome. Him and Bobby got that 4th down stop together where they both Frank grabbed Murray's knees, and then Murray was trying to lean forward to get it anyway, and then Wagner came up and hit his shoulders. They got the stop together.
I don't know what the Vikings were doing there. They were we're totally not going to run it down the middle. All right? Come on. You've been getting dominated all game. I mean, they were a whole yard out. I mean, it wasn't that close.
Talking inches or whatever, right?
Yeah.
They needed a yard. I think it was a long yard too. But I mean, they kept going for it on the short yard. The only thing that they had was the QB sneak. Got the converted. I think they converted 2 3rd and 1s with it. It was kind of a hard one to deal with, but outside of that, they got no push from that offensive line. We were just oppressive. Jacob Martin was having a hell of a game too. That's our rookie from the 6th round. He had that sack fumble on Kirk Cousins at the end, the one that closed the game out, right? Where you were oh, okay, we won. Cool. Good job, Jacob Martin. Coleman scooped it up and ran it back.
Yeah, I got to say, I wasn't expecting the Seahawks to dominate that well. I knew it was going to be hard, given, the Seahawks' track record of playing teams. They're getting hot. It's getting later in the season. They've been steamrolling. They've been chugging along, and the Vikings. I don't know, man. Maybe it's just their morale's a little bit low. And I mean, but credit to the Seahawks. I mean, they weren't letting plays develop for Kirk Cousins. They weren't letting. They were scaring him. He was feeling the pressure all game. He wasn't making the best decisions at times because he felt, whoever up there was coming after him. So that was a great defensive performance. Now, I wouldn't say it was as good as the Bears, but it was pretty good. And Bobby, leverage Wagner, great field goal block. It was incredible.
Oh yeah, I don't know. You're talking about the clean one, right? Where his hands were like up and he didn't touch anybody, right? Talking about that? Yeah, that's what I remember at least. No, we'll let that one go. In the post game press conference, they asked Pete Carroll about it, and he was like, "Yeah, I don't know. Like Bobby had been practicing that one all week, and every time he never once touched anybody jumping it, but that time he just like threw his hands down on his way over."
Yeah, it was kind of an odd response what he was saying.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I believe Wagner probably. Like, I've seen him jump like hot people, so I believe maybe.
Oh yeah.
But like, I don't know. It did not go as planned that time. But I mean, I guess it was fine. They picked it up because they said there was no leverage, and I guess like, I don't know. Maybe it should have been a penalty, right? It definitely wasn't like, or it should have been a penalty, and it's hard to like discount that, right? And be like, well, they lost 21-0 basically, right? Because our defense stopped really playing during garbage time. But I mean, like that leads change how you play games, right? So like the entire game script could be different, and maybe the Vikings get momentum off of a touchdown from that or something. But
yeah, it's weird how that.
So it's hard to just erase it, but I'm just gonna be like, whatever, just move on.
Yeah, it could have been worse. You guys, I still feel that you guys deserve the win. So, I mean, if that would have been, a game-winning field goal, that would have been different. But I mean, you guys were dominating that whole game, and I just didn't see the Vikings didn't seem to be getting anything going. They kept going for it. Like there was a time that they could have got 3 points. They instead went for it, lost. I think it was at the goal line. The Hawks made a goal line stand, and Vikings couldn't get anything done. And that's because they are the waste bin of the NFC North. Right next
You're loving it.
Hey, it's kind of interesting though, right? You fought our rivals, we fought your rivals, and we both got the win.
It works out. The Kirk Cousins did not look good under the amount of pressure we were getting, and we were getting to him really fast. And you're talking how like didn't let plays develop and everything. Our secondary has been so terrible throughout the whole year, or specifically our corners, Quill and Flowers. And today they played lights out, man. Quill had good stops on, or good plays against both Diggs and Thielen. And Quill's been burned by very mediocre receivers this year. And so for him to like play that lights out against Thielen and Diggs, it was like, what? I thought I was in the Twilight Zone. Like, what's happening? Even that bomb to Diggs, that like 40-yard pass or whatever that Kirk Cousins hit Diggs on, Flowers was all over him. Flowers had very good coverage, and if that was a receiver less talented than Diggs, that was 100% a defended pass. Like, because Flowers was in the perfect position, even got his hands on it, but Diggs just took it in because he catches a lot, like everything. Yeah. He's really good at contested catches, right? So I really was worried going in that this receiving core and Dalvin Cook was probably going to dice us. This receiving core is probably going to dice us. But it didn't happen, man. Like, I don't know, Kirk Cousins, I know they were starting to the Vikings, I'm wondering if they're tilting a little bit because of stuff that, like, Adam Thielen's lost his temper like 2 games in a row now, right? He lost his temper on Kirk Cousins on the sideline when he didn't throw the touchdown pass to, or the 4th and 2 pass to him. He tried to hit Rudolph, and Bradley McDougall swatted away.
Right.
Yeah, he got him. Yeah. He got on him about being open, and it did not look like there was like an open line of communication. You know, when you have 2 friends and you like one of them walks up, it's like, "Hey man, dude, I was open. What the hell?" And the guy's like, "Shit, I'm sorry. I didn't see it, or I got like zoned in or something." Like that won't happen next time. Were those types of conversations? It was more like when a manager goes up to yell at like a cashier employee, and the employee has no respect for the manager and just staring straight forward and can't really say anything. It's just like, like that, and then like the manager eventually like I don't know, you just go somewhere else in your mind. It's like that's what it looks like Kirk Cousins was doing to Thielen. He was just somewhere else in his mind. Like he's like not even engaged in that at all.
Yeah, that one was rough. I like they showed the play in slow-mo, and it was just bad timing, or I guess perfect timing. Like as soon as Smith checked down, Thielen broke free right there in the middle. And again, the pressure was getting to him all night. He's waiting. He's like waiting for that play to develop. It didn't develop in enough time that he felt.
Yeah, that's a big factor, right? Is like if he's sitting there, like maybe Frank Clark's on him for if he sits there another 0.5 seconds, right? And he didn't see Thielen come. Like Thielen was just coming into his vision. I guess he's got to be better about reading the field. That's probably an issue with that. Like Kirk Cousins just not being elite, but
because he was covered. He was down right until the end when as soon as Kirk like turned, like Thielen ran across the middle and was wide open, but it was just right at that time as soon as Kirk.
Yeah, he didn't like leave. It's not like people forgot to cover him or something, right? Yeah. So I understand why Kirk would want to try hit the tight end, right? See if the tight end. Rudolph is a really good red zone threat. He's really strong and he's good about catching a contested pass, especially one-on-one, and just out muscling his opponent for the ball. So I understand his thinking. Maybe a better quarterback would have thrown it to Thielen, would have recognized right away, would have been more comfortable in the pocket anyway. Kirk Cousins had a really bad night. His stat sheet, like he's just garbage time stat padding. Really, like,
yeah.
Russell had a bad night too. Our games have like so many like similarities. It was scary in how they performed, right? Our game was a less juggernaut version of your game, right? It was a defensive juggernaut versus the offensive juggernaut, but still, we went in and had a defensive dominance against opposing offense that should be good, has a lot of talent, and both of our quarterbacks sucked. Yeah. Well, Russell Wilson had a rough day.
Yeah, he had a good run there at the end. That huge, like 40-yard run or whatever. Like that's the fastest I've seen him run in a while. Like he was really, really trucking it there.
Yeah, there was a moment like when he was like 10 yards into the run that I was like, it looked like he was like gonna go. I'm like, my mind read it as he's about to go out of bounds, and instead he just sat down on his hips and just started going like even faster, and didn't step out until Harrison Smith found him. But yeah, I mean that's the thing is like when the Vikings defense is awesome. They're really, really good, right? So to not be able to find a lot of openings against that Vikings defense isn't that big of a deal, especially when you consider that we were running all over them just fine, and Russ made the plays that count, right? That David Moore should have got a touchdown. Like that was inexperience. He's not. He was picked in the 7th round last year, but like this is his first year actually playing. And so this is like he's still young. I mean, like if he just drags his foot, that was a perfect ball that he caught. He just didn't drag that second foot, right?
Yeah, that was
so bad. That's a touchdown. That I know he took like a 4-foot step. Like, dude, just drag. Yeah, and it's a touchdown
across the end zone. Yeah, that was strange.
Yeah, but Russ had that. That was like a deadlocked in, right? So Russ made in a very close game, a very low scoring game. The way I evaluate that is Russ got us a touchdown, right? He did what he needed to get us a touchdown. He made the play, right? Like his receiver didn't, but he made the play there. And then his legs got us 2 crucial first downs or 3, and including that 40-yard one near the end that led to the Chris Carson touchdown, right? And so he makes the play when it counts. Is that's the difference between Cousins and Russell that day is they both sucked, they both choked and had really bad moments, but when it counted, Russell was there.
Yeah.
And Cousins was not.
That's what's good about the mobile quarterbacks. It's hard to just have a pocket passer. I mean, look at Goff. Trubisky was still able to do something with his feet, even though he had a really bad game. But Goff, and that pocket collapses, and he just freaks out and just threw some horrendous passes when he was feeling some major pressure there.
He has no plan B, right? He's an accurate pocket passer when you leave him alone, right? He's never been under pressure except for the first year in which he was terrible. Remember how awful he was his rookie year? Yeah. When Jeff Fisher left and he they started using Jared Goff, he was under pressure all the time because their line wasn't very good, and he was throwing all these terrible passes, and they're like, wow, he's not the accurate quarterback we thought he was. They go out, get the Viking center and Andrew Whitworth, and suddenly he's an accurate pocket passer and has all this time, and his receivers are being schemed wide open and everything. And I don't mean to say that Goff's not good. He is a very accurate pocket passer. It's just we've never seen him have to handle pressure in this new offense before, and he didn't do a good job of it at all.
Yeah, that was bad. He threw that one bomb, a stinky bomb, man, right to Roquan Smith.
Yeah,
that was in front of the passer. He got hit, but that's the whole point, right? He doesn't really move. He just sits there, and the Bears were like, "All right, you can do that," and then they crushed him and his team, and it was amazing.
Yeah. Speaking of Roquan Smith, that brings something up I wanted to talk about. I was sitting here trying to figure out what part of your guys' defense that should get the highlight, should get highlighted. So at first I was like, well, they brought pressure to Jared Goff, so obviously the front seven. So who was the star of front seven? I was like, well, Khalil Mack was super disruptive in taking triple teams. Akeem Hicks had a lot of key stops and was super disruptive in there, getting into the middle. Goldman, what's his first name?
Eddie Goldman.
Eddie Goldman. He had that safety. He had a lot of pressure too.
He's good.
I was like, okay, there's no one on that front four, so maybe just the whole front four. And then I thought, I'm like, well, Danny Trevathan was everywhere, and so was Roquan Smith, so maybe I have to include the front seven. And then I started realizing, well, those wide receivers have been wide open all year, no matter who they play against, and they were not that game. And I remember in the fourth quarter, they started trying to test Eddie Jackson in coverage. And they tested him 4 times in a row, and he just batted it down every time. He's like, dude, what are you doing? Get out of here. So I'm like, well, the entire secondary was playing amazing. I mean, I don't know. I couldn't highlight. So I want to ask you, who would you highlight as maybe the most key component of that?
Well, I definitely like Roquan Smith. I think I'm not sure why. Maybe it's because he doesn't get many stops. It's just that not a lot comes his way, but he's almost there on every play. I see. I'm like, oh man, who chased down that guy? He's fast, and I'm like, oh, number 58. How did he do that? Or whether it's a runner, a wide receiver, he chases him down. Wherever he's at, he's there. And I mean, he has multiple tackles. And for him, I was really impressed in the first game whenever his first play was a sack on Deshaun Kaiser when Rodgers was out. I was like, yeah, this guy's pretty good. And every game, he doesn't get too many sacks. He does really well whenever they decide to blitz. But he plays his part perfectly. And I think, especially in the next year or two, he's going to be a player people watch. Now, Khalil Mack, he played really well that game. I think maybe he'll have to take it because he was just manhandling their O-line. And if he wasn't able to manhandle them, it was because they had to take 2 and 3 guys and put them on them every every snap. And the snaps, and even still, like there's times that they double team and he just swims through one of them. He just cuts right in between them, and then they just freak out. They're like, and they can't hold, or it's a penalty, and he just gets that arm on him. Right as soon as Goff feels that arm, he starts like freaking out. The power. It's not even just his hand. It's the power he transfers to the quarterback when he touches them, and
he saps their courage.
Yeah,
that's what keeps him going. That's his energy source.
Yeah, and I like Mac, and I don't think he's overrated. But sometimes I think that some of the defense gets overlooked just because Mac he's a household name. But the whole defense, like you said, I was just impressed. The thing that sucked was Bryce Callahan is out with a broken bone in his foot. So that's horrible, but it could be worse. We still got a lot of guys I can't believe that our defense has been able to maintain their health like they have. Mac hurt his foot a little bit, hurt his ankle, I think. He was out a couple games. They rested him well. I think there was I think it was just Mac on the defense, but he got some rest. Pretty much he came back and just started killing it. So that's something that I'm not used to. I usually, the fact that we've only lost Bryce Callahan, I can live with that.
Roquan Smith is having he's having a really good year. I'm looking at like the NFL stats. So tackles are weird because everyone has a different tally of how many tackles somebody has. That's something I realized. Like what Pro Football Focus counts as a tackle is like much stricter than what like the NFL counts as a tackle. But Roquan Smith has 97 tackles right now, 25 assists, and 4 sacks, and an interception, right? And that looks a lot like, I don't know, it's looking a lot like a Bobby Wagner season, right? Like he's not like as dominant, right? Like right now, like he's a rookie though, right? Like Bobby Wagner wasn't this Bobby Wagner until 2016 was really when he started at least it was noticeable how oppressive he was. He was before that he was like what Roquan Smith is now, where he was always everywhere, right? He was always everywhere in the plays and everything, right? And he would make huge plays for you. And then he had that breakout season in 2016 where now he's the best linebacker in the NFL. And it's like, wow, Bobby Wagner, what's this? And then he does it 2 more years in a row. But I'm wondering if Roquan Smith isn't going to have some coming out party here next year or the year after. Because he's a rookie playing like if you look up Bobby Wagner stats and look at his seasons, look at like 2013, 14, and 15, they look like Roquan Smith's current season, right? Yeah. Only lacking an interception and the sacks, except for 2013. He's having a Bobby Wagner 2013 season. 5 sacks, 2 picks, 120 tackles. Roquan Smith's on his way there, right? He has 4 sacks already. So,
yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah.
You guys did for his position. I've been very happy.
Yeah, he's definitely you guys definitely got the better end of the deal. I'm so glad you didn't draft Tremaine Edmonds.
You hate him so much.
I don't hate him. He just doesn't have any vision, and he's too raw to have gone in the first round. Maybe he'll be better. Maybe he'll get better. I don't know. I'm not liking the Bills' first round though.
You want to talk about Michael Kendricks?
No. Okay. So Michael Kendricks broke his tibia and he's out for the year, unfortunately. Man, I really like that guy. I wish it hadn't happened. We really needed him. outside of that, he's got all that like stuff with the federal government going on. I'm not where I stand is I'm not like too super critical of him. Like he definitely messed up. He did something that wasn't right. But I mean like he's facing potential federal prison time for a white collar crime, right? Like something that I don't see as I don't know. You mess with rich people's money though. rich people own this country, right?
Yeah.
So start messing with rich people's money, they're gonna get you.
Was this his first game back?
Right? Yeah, this is his first game back.
That's just rough.
Yeah, he played through it. He finished the game.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. I don't remember him going down and getting out.
Yeah, I just saw the next day. There was a report that Michael Kendricks is questionable for the Niners game with a knee injury. And then today it came out that he had broken his tibia in the game. And he's like out like for the rest of the season. So
that's rough.
Yeah. We needed him if we were gonna, I don't know, make some Cinderella.
Yeah, that's
story.
Not you didn't need that. You could have done with that, if you were gonna I think that he played really well whenever he was on your guys' team. I was impressed.
Yeah, he was very good. I'm hoping he doesn't go to jail, and I'm hoping he's allowed to come back and play next year. And he decides to come. I doubt he'll come. Like if he can come back next year, he can get money from somebody, and we're not going to pay a lot of money to him because we're probably going to be paying 2 pass rushers. So Frank Clark being one of them.
Frank.
So yeah, we got to figure out the Russell Wilson situation too. His contract's coming up to next year. Is when they'll probably like discuss it. I wonder if they'll do it before next year, in the off season. But if not, it'll probably be like during the year or something, or like close to the end.
How much you think he'll make?
I'm expecting him to be the next highest paid player, right? Because I mean, he arguably deserves it, and he deserves it much more than Kirk Cousins did, right? So he's a beast. We got to keep him, and I don't blame him for wanting his money. It's just part of me hopes that he takes a Tom Brady approach, right? He's like, well, maybe we can make a serious play for Clowney in the offseason if I don't bankrupt us.
Yeah, exactly. And he's married to Sierra, and so she has quite a bit of money too. So like Tom Brady, he's got Giselle. Yeah, so that'll be interesting to see. I like the Seahawks, except when they play the Bears. Then
you're gonna be so upset during the NFC Championship because I'm about to hold on. Let me break down how this is gonna go.
Russell Wilson's legs.
Oh, what? Khalil Mack grasps for air, and Russell Wilson's 40 yards down the field. So this is how this is gonna go. I'm gonna make my prediction right here, and then I'll let you make your prediction. All right.
All right.
Here we go. You're gonna be sitting here mid-February, wondering to yourself if I can physically sue history for plagiarism. Okay. That's how accurate what I'm about to say is. Here we go.
Okay.
So the Seahawks are going to beat the Cowboys. They're going to beat them in Dallas. There's going to be one controversial call in the middle of the game somewhere, maybe before halftime or midway through the third quarter or something. And they're going to win by like 3 or maybe 1 touchdown, something. And then all the Dallas fans are going to point to that. It's going to be big and controversial. I'm going to absolutely hate it, but we're going to come away with a victory.
It's going to go the Seahawks way.
Yeah, he's going the Seahawks way. Yeah, whatever happens. Like I don't know, like a clear like David Moore is gonna push off of Byron Jones for a touchdown or something, right? And everyone's gonna point to that, and it's not gonna be called. It's not gonna be called.
No, I know what it's gonna be. It's gonna be Bobby Wagner leapfrogging over the center. They're clearly drop kicking him and blocking the field goal. They're not gonna call anything.
Yeah. He leapfrogged over the guard in the Vikings game, though.
Okay.
Did you notice that? It wasn't the center.
Yeah. Well, he leaped over correctly, I believe, because you're supposed to You can hop over if you do it between the center and the guard. You can't go directly over one of them, I believe, is what the rule states now. So
yeah, you can't go over that because people were hopping direct because the long snapper has to, or like the center has to stay down, right? Like he doesn't get up to block. So it was like kind of cheesy letting people jump straight over, right?
Yeah, I remember.
I remember your war with that.
Yeah, we'll digress here. I don't want to rehash that.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. So back to the prediction. So the Seahawks are going to take out the Cowboys in Dallas by 1 score. There's going to be a controversial call that happens in the middle of the game, and everyone's going to point to that afterward. I'm going to hate listening to it. Then we're going to go – the Rams are going to overtake the Saints for that 1 seed, specifically so we can go to L.A. and have the most satisfying victory in the world when we beat the Rams in their stadium to destroy their playoff hopes. That is the absolute worst case scenario for the Rams, is for the Seahawks to beat them. There's no way that team implodes. That's it. That team's done. If they lose to the Seahawks in the playoffs, that team already argues with each other when they let the Seahawks score points. Both Hawks games, they're like getting in fights with each other and everything the whole time. That team is going to implode. And it's going to be bad. Like their Super Bowl window closes if the Seahawks kick them out of the playoffs.
Like closes for years to come.
For the next 2-3 years until they get a chance to build a real team again.
Jeez, that is quite the prediction. I thought you were gonna say that the Seahawks were gonna face the Bears in the NFC Championship. Let's see here. My predictions. It seems that we're having some technical difficulties. We hope to have Dustin back here soon. We will see, though. I'm communicating with him now. So sorry for all of our zero view. Oh,
can you see me? All right, I have no idea what happened. My interface just started glitching out, and it showed the Hangouts symbol keep popping up and minimizing 1,000 times. It really doesn't want me to get this prediction out, dude.
Yeah, I think your prediction was just too bombastic and unrealistic.
Well, no, okay. So
now the final prediction I can see as being true. It was the one leading up to it that I'm like, ooh, I don't know.
The Cowboy one?
No, the one after that one. The Cowboy one, yeah, you guys are gonna pound the Cowboys.
Yeah, I hope so, man. I don't know. I'm worried. I think it's gonna be a close game. All right, so we're going to beat the Cowboys. We're going to beat the Rams. And then in the NFC Championship, we're going to travel to the bitter cold. Zach, I want you to look at your camera. Zach, I want your beautiful blue eyes to be centered directly on the camera while I tell you this.
Yeah.
Chris Carson will run over Akeem Hicks straight up. He will run him over. It'll happen one time at least. At least one time, and our running game will be a nightmare for the Bears. Russ is going to be terrible against the Bears, but the Bisque is going to be terrible in the cold, so it's going to balance itself out. And Russ runs, well, they'll both get a lot done running. The difference is that we have Chris Carson and we have Rashad Penny, who's a nightmare once he gets to that secondary. Your secondary is going to forget how to tackle again, like it did in the pin game. And Rashad Penny is going to be able to punish that. He's going to have a big run for a touchdown.
Don't you put that on my team.
We're going to come into the bitter cold, Zach. Zach, look at me. We're coming into the bitter cold, and we're coming out with the Bears' hearts.
No.
Yep, and Khalil Mack will be a Seahawk next year.
Here's how this is going to work. So the Bears are going to face the Vikings in Soldier Field again. And all it is going to be is the Bears dominating the Bears defense dominating the Vikings and Adam Thielen yelling at people. That's going to be the game. And we're going to just destroy them. Even their defense. Trubisky's going to improve. All right, this Packer game is going to be different. And it's going to be in the cold. It's going to be at Soldier Field. It's going to be different. He's going to show that last week was an accident and he's sorry for it. And because he also remembers the first game. And he knows that the only way he's going to win this team over is defeating the Green Bay Packers. Because if you can't do that, you get ran out of this town. All right, that was the one thing, real quick, that was the one thing Lovie Smith did. His whole he got hired because they were essentially like, what can you do? And he's like, I'm going to beat the Green Bay Packers. And he did. And they got rid. Anyways, here's what's going to happen this postseason. So I'm pretty sure we're going to make it to the second round. And
who are you beating in the first?
The Vikings. I would say I can't see any other team going.
Me neither.
Now
really,
that the Eagles lost, the only way I see the Packers making it is like a lot of different things have to happen, and that would involve them beating the Bears this week, and I just don't think that's going to happen. So as far as the second round, the Seahawks-Cowboys, man, the fact that it's at the Cowboys Stadium and their defense has not been playing terrible. Dak Prescott, I mean, he has Ezekiel Elliott and he hasn't been playing horrible. I mean, he threw for like 450 yards this past week. So the only thing, if your defense can't lock one of them down, that's going to be rough. Hopefully, Amari Cooper can be locked up because he was killing it. I would say, so I'm going to go with the Seahawks because Danger Russ. Like, the dude's a beast. He makes the plays when they count, especially in that fourth quarter. You get him in the fourth quarter, if it's even within 2 touchdowns, like, it's still a game. Easy. So I think I'd go with the Seahawks there. The Seahawks would then play the Saints, assuming they remain number 1, and it looks like they're going to. I can't really see either team losing any more of their games. Like the Eagles-Rams one was going to be interesting, but now with Wentz out, I just don't see that happening. So Seahawks and New Orleans, that one is going to be tough because I'll have to see how New Orleans plays the season out. All right, if they don't really return to how Breeze was just dominating, like that offense was killing it, I'll give the Seahawks a chance. If he comes back swinging these next few games, or at least the next 2, the last one is usually a wash, then I'll probably go New Orleans' way. And if the Bears at that point will be facing off the Rams again in LA, and that's going to be an easy game like it was the first time, only it's not going to be in the cold weather, so the Bisque isn't going to be terrible. So that's all we need. The Bisque is going to play well. The defense is going to dominate again. Goff he's going to be out there looking like a fool with Khalil Mack wrapped around him. And as far as those 2 games, either the Saints and the Bears or the Seahawks and the Bears. Which, hey, please beat the Saints, because I know we can take you guys in Soldier Field. It'll be easy, but going to the Saints Stadium, I don't know about that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think the Saints are our worst matchup.
Yeah.
Because we can run, I think that it's probably easier. Like Soldier Field is probably a better place for us to go into the cold, because we are like an oppressive run team, right? But man, I can't fathom us beating the Saints. It's so hard to see. They're just like the best part of their defense this year is stuffing the run. They were like number one, and like 2 weeks ago they were number one. I haven't checked in a while, but at stuffing the run. But and the best part of their offense is, well, I mean, they got like this offense that has all these different receivers that Drew Brees is incredibly accurate and can hit everywhere, and they got Alvin Kamara. I don't know. I just don't see our secondary being able to hold them, and their line is awesome, and I don't see any pressure getting to Drew Brees at all. I think that is a really tough matchup for us. I'd really rather face the Rams. I'd really rather that second round that divisional round be against the Rams.
Yeah.
Yeah. We need the Rams to overtake the Saints. We need them to win more. We need the Saints to lose a game, basically, so that we can go into LA.
Oh, you want them to be the first seed?
Yeah, because we're the fifth, so they're going. So the first seed will play the lowest seed that comes out, right? And what I'm expecting to happen is the Bears and the Seahawks to come out, so third and fifth, right? Yep. So we're gonna face the Saints if it remains this way. Like, we're on pace to face the Saints, but
I don't know if that'll change. Maybe the Panthers will just come alive against those two games for some reason. Because they'd have to lose 2. Is that what they would need to lose? And
the Saints,
Rams, yeah.
Oh no, it's just one, because right now they're tied, but the Saints hold the tiebreaker.
Okay,
right?
That's right.
So it's only one. So they would need to lose one, and the Rams would just need to finish off their hilariously easy schedule, which is like, I'll double check, but I think it's like the Cards, Niners, and let's do this Rams schedule. Sorry if that typing's loud. The Eagles without their quarterback, the Cardinals, and the Niners.
Yeah, I think that we could take Drew Brees. I think that's very possible.
Yeah, I think you guys are.
Trubisky, don't turn over the ball. I mean, this if he could shore up things, like, we have a pretty good chance. If the mistakes don't keep happening. If we can just shake off that Rams game as a one-off from him being back and just getting back into the groove of things, which, I mean, what a way to return, I guess. If not, if he's still relatively inconsistent, then I don't know. It's just going to be one of those things where we could have won, but Trubisky puts the other team back in the game, and that sucks. But I expect him to get better. It's his first year under this new regime, and I'm really looking forward to it. Who could we say is going to go on the other side for the AFC?
Man, my gut is telling me the Chargers. That's what my gut tells me that it's going to be the Chargers. That's what I'm feeling right now.
They're finally going to get back in it.
Yeah, and it's like destiny, man. They're gonna meet the Seahawks in the Super Bowl, right? Because, like, who's gonna stop the Hawks at this point? And the Seahawks are just gonna have a blowout victory against them, where everyone's like, "Man, that Super Bowl sucked." Philly P finally gets to the big game, ready to go finally win a Super Bowl. Him and Antonio Gates nucks each other or whatever for their 20 years of service together. And then as soon as it snaps, Phillip Rivers throws a pick six that starts the momentum going the Seahawks' way.
Oh man, that would happen, right? Just something ridiculous. I remember back when they had LaDainian and Tomlinson, right? And that was whenever the Patriots were just killing it every season. right? Starting the season 10-0 every season. And, the Chargers were a good team, and every time they get up there, right, someone would just edge them. I think I remember one of them was the Patriots in the Chargers home field, and I can't remember who it was, but they did the Charger one where they're just like, yeah, right on the bolt in the center of their field, and that was before these taunting penalties were about, and it was also the end of the game. But at LT, I remember he's just talking about how Patriots have no class, and it was just, I felt so bad because Phillip Rivers was great, LaDainian Tomlinson was great, and just every season, and Phillip, like he has been just one of the better QBs that gets overlooked because they can't win. Whether it's for the regular season or the postseason, right? They get there, they lose out. They lose out to someone. Like all the other teams made it eventually. The Colts, the Steelers, even the Jets one time got to the NFC Championship. I think they beat the Patriots once in the postseason. So just I would like that. I would really like to see Phillip Rivers. I don't know about the whole Seahawks on the other side deal. You're dreaming, I think. But I think I do think Phillip Rivers has. I mean, with Joey Bosa being back, I'm hoping that he's healthy. I haven't really seen gameplay, but they could make a real run at this. But since the Patriots are always in it, what are their chances of making it? How do you think it'll go? Like, run through your predictions for how the Chargers are going to get there.
So the Chargers, I think, have the most talented roster. As long as Phillip Rivers doesn't go full Phillip Rivers and start throwing picks in the fourth, I don't know. I think that they're just gonna. So they're projected to play the Steelers right now. I don't think that'll change. Like I played with a lot of like that playoff predictor machine, and it always ended up like with the Chargers versus the winner of the AFC North, right? So I think the Chargers are going to be playing the Steelers, which they will probably run through this time. The Steelers, what's going on with them? I don't have faith in that team anymore. I know that the Chargers got ran over in the first half and then ran them over in the second half. But I'm thinking that if they don't get run over in that first half, that it's just the Chargers are just going to annihilate the Steelers. Their secondary is just way too good. Casey Hayward never gets talked about, even though he's like one of the most consistently great corners in the NFL. They have Desmond King. They have Derwin James. The secondary is amazing. They got Joey Bosa coming back and Melvin Ingram. They're like as your edge rushers are nuts. So that defense has a lot of talent on it. And then, oh, that's right. One big question: their running backs, Austin Eckler and Melvin Gordon. Like they're both out for this Chiefs game tomorrow, for example. So yeah, so like how healthy are they? Because Melvin Gordon at least has been on and off all season. I don't know if Eckler has, but
let's assume that they're out for the Steelers game that they play.
Then I think the game gets harder. For some reason, I can't get out of my head the idea that Ben Roethlisberger is going to throw 3 interceptions in that game. I can't break that from me. I feel like that's going to happen. I feel like Derwin James is going to get a pick, Casey Hayward's going to get a pick, and Desmond King's going to get a pick.
Well, is James Conner going to be back?
I don't know. I'm considering as if he's there, right? Because I don't know. I just feel like they're not going to – Antonio Brown's going to get a touchdown, right? He's going to get 100 yards and a touchdown. But is it going to be enough?
Yeah, that's a good one. Where would they play? Where would it –
they're going to be in Pittsburgh. Yeah. Yeah, because right now Pittsburgh is
going to be the first seed. I forgot about that.
Yeah. KC still is The thing is that the Chargers are actually in control of the division if they win this game tomorrow. That's something that's interesting and worth thinking about, because that'll drop the Chiefs to 11-3. That'll bring the Chargers up to 11-3. And then the Chargers at that point, I believe, will hold the tiebreaker.
Interesting. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know. That's going to be an interesting game. If they have, given that Joey Bosa's back, I would really like to see the Chargers give the Chiefs a run for their money. I think it's going to be in San Diego as well, so hopefully that home field will give them a little bit of an edge. I didn't think about that, though. I didn't think about somehow the Chargers just managing to overtake that first seed.
Yeah.
That was the case. That would be really interesting.
Yeah, I think the Chargers, I think they'll lose tomorrow. It's hard without them having their running backs, right? Without them having their running backs to beat the Chiefs. Granted, the Chiefs also don't have their running backs, I guess, so they're kind of both in the same situation. Kareem Hunt obviously is gone, and Spencer Ware's out for the season.
Oh, Kareem Hunt? So, what happened?
Kareem Hunt? Oh, the him getting in a brawl outside the hotel room. I guess that's an exaggeration. I don't know. I don't want to harp on the guy too much. I like when you're drunk. I get when you're drunk and you get in arguments and stuff. I think it was really petty of him to keep going back out there, though. And you were asking for something bad to happen when you continuously re-enter the situation after your friends pull you out of the situation.
Yeah, his friends did their job.
Yep. He put when he pushed his friend and that girl slammed into the wall or whatever. It's at that point your friends, that was the second time your friends had gotten you into the hotel room and you came out and started pushing people, and obviously something bad's going to eventually happen. You keep re-entering the situation. Just be able to walk away, man. I don't know. It's so annoying to watch. Just walk away. I don't get it. What could she be? She could be saying racist things and still what she's saying is not important enough for you to potentially ruin your life over.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, exactly. Right? Just go away, man. She has nothing that you need.
I know. She's literally not important.
So I would say that I think I'm going to go with the Chargers. Chargers are going to beat them next week, and they're going to overtake the division. All right, that's what's going to happen.
I think Pat Mahomes going to beat them without Melly Gordo or Eckler, but I'm thinking maybe, just maybe, because right now the Chargers are in. If that happens, the Chargers are in the position to where they're the 5th seed. So if they win and the Texans overtake whoever's they're playing, right, then the Chargers face the Chiefs in the divisional round. So my prediction is that the Chargers will lose again tomorrow to the Chiefs, but then with a healthy Austin Eckler and Melly Gordo will win a shootout against the Chiefs in the divisional round.
Okay, I can go with that. All right, so in the first round, Chargers or Steelers?
Chargers.
And are we gonna say it's gonna be Texans and Colts, or who do you think's gonna take that 6th seed? I'd like to see Andrew Luck get a chance coming back off that injury.
Yeah, I don't have faith in the Ravens. I know that they're a better team than. They're a more well-balanced team than they have been in the past.
Yeah.
Let's look at the Ravens schedule real quick. Hold up. I'm going to pull up some schedules. I'm going to mute for just a second so you don't have to.
Yeah, I got to say that so I like Andrew Luck. I'd really like them to make it over the Ravens or the Titans. I think they have the best chance, I guess. The Ravens, I don't know. Lamar Jackson, he's been great at running the ball, moving out of the pocket, throwing average, I guess. I mean, not awful. And, he looks like he's going to be the new face of the franchise moving forward. We'll see. Nothing's been official, but, I mean, it seems to be going that way.
Yeah, I think Lamar Jackson's going to be pretty legit. I think that maybe it'll take he might not be the best passer for the first year or two. I think that one key is I think he could be really deadly if they find the bet like a good quarterback coach to pair with them, right? Or have a good coach that can. I don't know, like if he was paired up with Andy Reid, right? I'd be pretty confident that he'd become a monster. But so the Colts schedule is the Cowboys, Giants, Titans. And the Ravens schedule is the Bucks, Chargers, Browns. I actually think both their schedules are like equally as hard.
I'm going with the Colts on that Cowboys game.
I am too.
I think they got it.
I am too.
They just put it to the Texans. I think that they can take, because it's going to be in Indianapolis. I think that they can edge them. Andrew Luck has just been having a great year, and especially after that Texans win, their defense isn't awful as it has been before. I think they've just gotten momentum, and the fact that they're winning, they're just really coming together, and they're just making plays now. They're playing better. So I would like to see the Colts and the Texans in that second round. So either way, let's say it's the Colts or the Texans. Who would you take them to beat, or the Colts or the Ravens rather, against the Texans in the first round?
I gotta go with the Texans, man. I don't see the Colts doing it again. They did it once, I know, but I don't know how. Where were they? They were in Houston, weren't they?
Yeah.
Man, they gotta go back to Houston and do it again.
Yeah, that would be rough.
I don't know. Like I'm feeling like they got I'm feeling like I'm gonna go with the Texans. I know that they just beat the Texans, but I think I'm gonna go with the Texans, and I think it's gonna be the Colts because the Ravens have to go through the Bucks. So I'm pretty confident they'll beat famous Jameis, right? They got to play Bolt. I don't know. I think the Chargers are going to beat them. And the Browns, I don't have a feeling it. I felt it last time, and they beat them last time. I think that the Browns are going to beat the Ravens again. Ooh. I really think so because they're both going to be playing for their playoff lives at that point, potentially. Like, probably not the Browns. The Browns need, like, a lot to go right for them to make it. Like, the Steelers have to lose out, and the Browns have to win out. Actually, I think that's all that needs to happen.
That would be incredible
if
that happened.
Yeah, so I would like the Browns to make the playoffs
the third
instead.
Seed, or no, they'd be the fourth. No.
What? They'd be the fourth, yeah. The AFC North winners.
Texans would be the third seed.
Yeah, because the Texans just have, like, unless they tank, they just have two of the far lead on, like, record-wise, right? Yeah. So they should hold on to that third seed.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I would welcome that, actually. That would be incredible. So who do you got going then? The AFC divisional rounds.
All right, so we put the Chargers and I put the Texans. So the Chargers versus the Chiefs. I have the Chiefs taking the Chargers, or the Chargers taking the Chiefs out in the divisional round. Ooh. Like they get swept by them in the regular season, then come back and upset them in the divisional round when their backs are fully back and healthy.
Do you think Mahomes will?
I think it's gonna be a shootout.
Anything Mahomes does? Like, do you think he'll? The pressure will get to him a little bit. Rivers has been there before several times.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that the Chargers defense should be able to cause problems, especially without Kareem Hunt in the equation, right?
Yeah.
And once the Chargers get their beast running backs back, that Chiefs defense shouldn't be able to stop anything. So I think it's going to be a shootout. I think that late Pat Mahomes might make a few mistakes, right? Like he did against the Rams when he started like just trying to gunsling too hard, right?
Yeah. He just did that awful flat-footed pass.
Yeah,
just didn't really put anything into that.
Yeah, just that half-hearted one where it like kind of rolled off the dude's shoulder into the lineman's hand. Yeah.
It was funny. They both had those two bad throws that were pick sixes. That was a very interesting game.
Yeah.
So, what is it?
So I have the Chargers in the AFC Championship. Then I have the Texans versus the Patriots. I feel like the Patriots are going to win. I want Deshaun Watson to take them out, but I feel like the Patriots always – I can't have the Patriots lose in the divisional round. They just always figure something out. So
what if the Texans take the first seed or the second seed, right? What if they meet them in Houston?
If the Patriots met them in Houston –
would you give them – because in Foxborough, man, nobody's winning but the Patriots.
Yeah.
That just doesn't happen.
I just feel like it's going to be – no, I think I would still go with the Patriots, man, just because it's hard to see unless they I don't know, because there is Tom Brady is kind of falling off, right? Tom Brady is not as dominant as he was. He's not bad right now, right? But he's just kind of good now. Yeah. And he has moments where you're like, what was that pass? Or I don't know, like, did you not see that guy open? I don't know, like he's had a couple I don't know things, but this offensive schemes are still really good. They're still getting people open. So I think I'm going to go with the Patriots anyway, even though the Texans are a major threat. I think it's really close to a 50-50 game.
Yeah.
Right? I could see J.J. Watt and Clowney playing the game of their lives and getting to Tom Brady and the Texans, like, just being able to just win because of that, right? Because, like, the pressure is getting to a Tom Brady that's not the Tom Brady of the past.
Man. That would be incredible, though. Rivers finally gets him, whenever Brady's just, he just can't. His youth is slipping away from him.
Yeah, you know what? I'm changing my mind. I'm convincing myself. So if the Texans go to Foxborough, then the Patriots will be in the AFC. Will make the AFC Championship. But if the Patriots go to Houston somehow,
yeah, you're gonna go with Houston.
Yeah, then I'll go with Houston. I'll go with Houston if the Patriots head to Houston, because I'm convincing myself. I can't imagine that, like, Deshaun Watson and D-Hop and Demaryius Thomas should tear the Patriots, like, should find a place to tear up the Patriots, right? And then I can see that the Patriots line is, like, mediocre, right? Like, It's not a bad line, but it's like I think the dominant pass rush when they're sitting there playing for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I could see Clowney and Watt creating massive problems for the Patriots.
Well, so either way, the Chargers are going to be playing in either Houston or Foxborough. Do you think that they could beat either of them?
I think that Houston doesn't really pose much of a problem for them. Like, as far as a home field advantage, I wonder about Foxborough, because they're a warm weather team, right? Like, they're from LA. They were in San Diego before that. I think that maybe Foxborough. I think Foxborough would be the only home field advantage I'd be worried about. But I would have faith that they could maybe take it. Like Melly Gordo trudging through the snow.
Yeah, that would be great. I hope that we have a couple snow games in the playoffs, one being in Foxborough and the other being in Soldier Field.
Yeah.
But I know that realistically that might be asking a bunch for the NFC Championship game. But there's hope. So we'll see.
How do you see who do you got for making it from the AFC?
And the AFC, I'm with you on the Chargers beating the Steelers because, yeah, I like Pittsburgh, but I don't know what it is. I mean, I can't. Maybe it's because they haven't had a dominant run game and have been relying more on Big Ben, who, he makes some really great decisions and then makes a few poor decisions that just end up not panning out well. And they like he might his mistakes might help the other team, and then he'll come back and make some awesome plays, and then they end up just losing these close games in the end because they. I mean, I guess in this case, it was kind of crappy being on the Raiders field and watching Boswell just biff it. That was just unfortunate. And
oh man, the Raiders field. It's so bad. They tried to get it replaced for so long. Little did they know they were working against themselves.
Yeah, and the thing is that I'm not that surprised they lost to the Raiders.
Really?
It really, yeah, it doesn't surprise me that much because they do this kind of stuff. They'll be this awesome team. They'll destroy the Panthers. 52. The game was over with like the first half. They were just dominating them, and then they just have a terrible game out of nowhere, and I can't figure out why that happens. And they lose games that they should never lose, given the talent on that offense. So in this case, I think the Chargers have their number because they have a better than average defense and their offense is amazing. And I trust Phillip Rivers in that game. The Texans at the Colts. So I'd like to run a scenario where the Colts win that game, and then they would play the Chiefs. I don't think he could outshoot Patrick Mahomes, sadly. And Chargers and Foxborough. It's just been this long-standing matchup. I don't know. This is hard. I'll go with the Chargers because I think that they have the most talent. I think that, and they're younger. I think that they're playing better. Their defense is better. So I think they're more well-rounded to take on the Patriots, even in Foxborough. Now, whenever they come to play the Chiefs, that's one. I feel like it's going to be either the Chargers or the Chiefs. Now, here's the deal, though. My scenario is likely not going to happen. It's likely going to be that the Chargers beat the Steelers and the Texans beat whoever hits that 6th seed spot, meaning the Chargers are going to face Patrick Mahomes. Now, that game, see, that's the one that just sucks, right? Chiefs defense is terrible, but Patrick Mahomes, I don't know, man. I don't know if it's hype, but it doesn't seem like hype whenever I watch it. Like, he did a no-look pass, and it just seems, he ain't gonna do that. But he just kind of did it. It was a fairly long pass. It was like 20 yards or so, and he just chucks it right into the guy's hands. Even if he was seeing him out of the corner of his eye, that was an amazing pass. And that's going to be a tough game for the Chargers playing at KC. And so I'm going to give it to KC on that one because they've been doing it all year. I think the Chargers can, but I think KC is going to edge them. And then they'll go to play. I'm gonna go ahead and say that if the Texans are going to if they end up playing. If they retain the 3rd seed, they're going to play in Foxborough, and I would give it to the Patriots there. I think it would be a close game, but I think at the end, like the Patriots, I think it's going to be close, but the Patriots are going to be running the game for most of it. And then I give it to
just out of reach or whatever.
Yeah, I think that they're just going to do what the Patriots do at the end, and they're going to make the plays that count when they need them. Now. I would really like to see, because postseason Tom Brady, even old Tom Brady, I don't know, things just change. Like it becomes a different ball game. So I'd be very interested to see. They are going to play in KC though, so they do not. I think if they played in Foxborough, it would be a lot more beneficial. But being in KC where there's not going to be that, it's going to be colder. But and I guess it depends on the inclement weather. They both play well in the cold. Well, I guess I haven't really seen Patrick Mahomes play well in the cold, but I would assume he won't be that affected. So I think I'm going to go ahead and say that KC is going to somehow, with their first year starting quarterback, are going to make it to the Super Bowl. And they're not going to win because the Bears are going to stop them. That's what's going to happen.
Wait, hold on. I'm confused. How are the Bears and the Seahawks both going to be in the Super Bowl?
Oh, what do you wait?
You're talking like the Bears. No, the Bears lose when they lose in the NFC Championship to the Seahawks, they won't progress to the Super Bowl. That's how that works.
Oh, wait. Are you talking about a game I didn't know about or hear?
I'm talking about the game that's going to happen, the NFC Championship, when the Seahawks travel into the bitter cold and come back out with Khalil Mack's ass.
I'm sorry. I'm not sure what you're talking about. I guess it's a joke. I don't know. It's an odd thing to be joking about. It's a bad one. It's like saying, the Browns are going to win the Super Bowl. Like, what?
I think the Browns are more likely to win the Super Bowl than the Steelers. What?
That'll be amazing.
Hey, the Browns can still get in if they win out.
Are you going to go for them? If they win out,
if they win out, they're going to be I'm going to root for them as hard as I root for the Seahawks on the NFC side. If they somehow sneak in there, if they become the Kings of the North, actually, can they even do that? Hold on, I'm trying to think. What's the Steelers' record right now? No, they would. The thing is, they need the Steelers to lose to the Bengals for that to happen. The Bengals don't have a quarterback, and they have a terrible defense.
I don't know, though. It's the Steelers.
It is, I know. In a divisional game, right?
Man, I don't know, man.
Do they still have Vontaze Burfict to take out Antonio Brown?
Yeah. That's what they need.
Yeah.
So they'll just the Bengals.
I know they lost Pac-Man.
Win it for the Steelers. All right, how about this? What if the Browns make it to the Super Bowl and so do the Seahawks? Who are you going to vote for? You're going to root for to win that game. It's the Browns. You never see the Browns. It's Baker Mayfield.
I know their fans deserve it. Oh no,
right? Like you guys.
I'm rooting for the Seahawks.
You would be a-holes if you guys won. You'd be
no. I mean the Browns will be happy just going. Okay, the Browns are happy to just go. The fans will be like, we were at the Super Bowl last year after being the factory of sadness for the last 20, right? So they'll be happy to just go. So it's okay if we stomp them.
Yeah.
But if the Bears meet the Browns in the Super Bowl, I'm rooting for the Browns.
All right. Look, we don't need to be doing any of that.
All right.
It's not going to happen. The Browns part.
Yeah, no. All right. Well, anything else you want to talk about?
No, that's all I got for this one.
All right, me too.
All right, well, the Bears are going to stomp the Packers next week, and it's going to be easy.
Oh, yes.
40 to maybe 3.
I can't wait until Aaron Rodgers is still not as good as Russell Wilson, and yet people talk about him like he is. One thing that's bad about Russell Wilson's game, he came out with like a 37 passer rating or something. Yeah. And that sucks because he had just either last week again or the week before, he had just overtaken Aaron Rodgers' career passer rating. He had the highest career passer rating in the NFL. Oh. And so I think he's probably dipped back below Aaron Rodgers with that 37 game. Though I'm not sure.
Yeah. Well, Aaron Rodgers is just going to throw it away the whole game, so.
Yeah.
He's going to extend that Tom Brady record and have like a 30% completion percentage. But the 30% he completes is going to be really good, so his QBR won't be that bad.
Yeah, he's had like, 56 throwaways or something, like by far the most in the league.
Yeah, almost double.
Yeah, almost double. It was like, when they showed the stat, it was like 53 throwaways, most in the league, and number 2 had 36 or something.
Yeah, no, it was like 26 or 30.
26? Yeah, 30? Yeah. Dude.
30 and under.
Wow.
As of last week.
Dude, he had to hit that record, man. And, that Falcon blew it. like 2 passes before the record. That Falcon that he passed it right into his chest and he dropped it.
It's about to be a pick six.
I know. Like, come on, dude. Like a pick, like how it doesn't get more beautiful than a pick 6, 1 pass from the record.
Yeah, I know. Oh man, that would have been great.
That would have been so perfect.
I would have bought his jersey.
Yeah, I would have too. I'd be like, man, that Falcon, I don't know, was that DeMonte Casey or whatever? Dude, that's my boy.
It was good.
Yeah, my new
good
favorite
for you,
player.
Aaron, your team is 5-7-1. You're tied with the Browns.
Yeah, they're gonna. They might end with a worse record than the Browns. I don't. Who's gonna be the king of the North?
I like that. I look forward to it.
I think the Browns would beat them. To be fully honest with you, I think the Browns would beat them.
I would pay to see that game. I would fly to Green Bay to see that.
Who'd you guys play? Who'd you play? Which division? Which AFC division did you play last year?
Oh man, I'm not sure.
Hold on. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So this year you're playing not the Titans, not the South. You're not playing the North. You're playing the East because you played the Patriots. That's right. You're playing the East this year. And then like who did you play last year? I'm trying to figure out if you guys are going to play the Browns next year.
Yeah, we played the AFC South
last year.
Yeah.
Wait, what? We played the AFC South last year. We played, because
that was 2016. I typed in 2017.
Okay.
It's like, okay, here's
okay,
2016.
So you played the South, the East, and what was the one before that? 2017.
That is a great question.
Name just Chicago Bears 2017 schedule, and then find the first AFC team to see.
Yeah, just don't type in Bears 2017 because their 2016 schedule will show up.
Really?
It's still showing up.
No, the Titans are the preseason. That's why. The Titans was a preseason game, right?
No,
the Jags, the 2016. What?
Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that.
All right, well, let's click on this.
So yeah, it was actually the North.
Oh, okay. So you're a couple of years out. Dang. I was hoping next year that we'd get to see Baker Mayfield drop the Packers, but it's gonna be a couple of years.
Yeah, we beat the Steelers, the Ravens, the Browns, and the Bengals. We beat them all.
Oh, nice! You swept them. Wait, that's the only teams you beat besides the Panthers.
Yeah,
all year.
I didn't even think about
was the AFC North. You just swept them.
Well, the one against the Steelers, I think, wasn't with Trubisky, but all the starting the 5th week, it was.
You're just like, we don't lose to AFC teams. What?
Yeah, all right. Just don't.
Anyway, I gotta go. I gotta hop off, man.
All right.
Thanks for doing this. Appreciate it. Thanks for stopping by.
For sure.
We'll do one of these again next week. We'll actually not skip it. We'll not do every other week. We'll do one next week, right?
Right.
All right. See ya.